Hey y'all, it's Jerrick, aka HRBC, your favorite published author's favorite published author, and your host of A Little Tea Time. I got to welcome Miss Misa Murray back to A
Hey,
Little Tea Time. Misa, how are you, Queen?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. As
Good.
we said before we got started, it's been a little over a year and a half.
Yes, a lot has transpired within a year, a little over a year. So just to give a brief update on me, I'm sorry it's hot, baby. Um, but what happened last year after the interview with you, I was pregnant and I found out I was pregnant. And then January of last year, we were actually 7 months gestation. And we found out on the 20th that his mother had passed away, my husband's mother. And then a few days later, we found out that Josiah had been pronounced deceased. He wasn't alive. So the whole process with stillbirths, it was very depressing. It put me in a really deep mindset to where I didn't want to do anything. I just really wanted to give up on everything. And I had to go to counseling, just basically in a very deep, dark place with anxiety. So I had to really get my mind together because I do have an older son. He's 12. So I've never stopped being a mother to him. It was more so I just I took care of him, but that was all the energy I had was to take care of him. And it put me in a place where I just didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't feel like dressing up. And my husband, he was definitely there for me as I was there for him. And I could understand his frustration because he had lost his mother also a few days before we had lost Josiah. So he took a double hit. And, after counseling, after going to these interviews or meetings rather with a company called Rachel's Gift, who they actually provide services for grieving parents and grieving families. Whenever Josiah was born, there's a bassinet that's specified for making sure that the babies, don't decompose quickly. So we were able to spend a couple of days with Josiah before we had to give him over to the funeral home, which was a great experience. It was horrible, of course, but it was a great experience because we were still able to trying to keep it together. We were still able to spend some time with him. Um, and Nakor, our son, he was able to see him. He's still a kid, so he really didn't fully understand what was happening. Um, but all is well. During the grieving process and after counseling, I turned to my creative side to try to dig myself out of the black hole that I was in. So I had written two books and created a coloring book, which they are available on Amazon.com. One of the books is for adults only. I love urban romance, urban fantasy. So that book, it is. I'm sorry. I'm so excited to talk to you. I'm trying to get myself together. You're so. Let me tell you something, Jerry. Your energy is needed. You are needed in the world. So don't ever give up on your goals, your craft. Don't ever give up on anything that you're doing because I see you on Facebook and you're doing so wonderful.
Thank
So
you.
thank you again. I'm not trying to ramble on.
No, you're
Um,
okay. You about to make me cry.
Sorry. But okay. And then I'm working on another book called Blood and Molasses, which is kind of a spinoff to the urban romance book that I have. It's about vampires and love, and it's based in Austin, Texas. So I'm hoping I'll be finished with that. Yes, I hope I'll be finished with that before Halloween, so people can get into it and just feel the spirit of just love and romance. What else? I have also got into music on my musician side, my artistry side. I've always been loving music. I've been a music head since I really can't remember. Even like whenever I was a kid and we'd be in school or go to the Boys and Girls Club and everybody would make beats with their hands on the table and we'd all be singing, the old school days. But I love to sing R&B. I've really just tapped into my hip hop artist side. Um, I really was never a rapper, but I tried it and I actually enjoy it because the energy that I feel is like, yeah, let me get hyped. And it feels so good to feel that way, even for a few moments. Um, and so I've also tapped into my R&B blues slash country artist side. I have a song out there called Sugar Honey Iced Tea, and it is really a memory or a memorabilia type of thing for me because my aunt Shirley, she wouldn't let us cuss, but she would always say, "You can say sugar honey iced tea." That's what I write then. So I utilize that in my song, and it's basically about a woman just realizing that her man is full of sugar honey iced tea, and she's tired of it. She's independent. She's grown, and she's basically telling him, "Get on out of here. See you later." You know. But it's very empowering. The other song that I have out is called Blues Clues. It's more so of a bluesy kind of R&B type of song. It's really about a woman who is just so fed up with someone that she truly had deep love for, and she keeps trying to detox herself of this person, but he keeps trying to find a way back in. So she's telling him block, detox, unfriend again. So it's like a cycle that she's going through, and then she finally realizes that she's better off without him. With my rapping music, my hip hop music, I like to speak positively. I don't really talk much about like twerking and all the other things that we normally hear. So another song that I have out is called Expanse. And so it's basically an empowerment song that you are rising above anything that's coming in your way, any hurdles that's coming in your way. Nobody can stop you from getting your bag. Nobody can stop you from making sure that your goals are achieved. And it's kind of like a spacey type of song. Like it's very energetic, and the beat itself goes super, super hard. Um, I kind of included some of my childhood cartoons in there, like Jimmy Neutron, blast off like Jimmy Neutron. You see it? So
Love
yeah,
that.
it's gonna be. I hope you take a listen. It's a really good track, and it plays so well in the car. Like if you're on the interstate, you know how you have to have that one song to get you in that mood to like. That's one. That's one.
Yes. Well, congratulations on all of your art,
Thank
on all of this
you.
creativity.
Thank
I
you.
saw your post for your music over on the book, and I said,
Mhm.
it is amazing everything that you are doing right now, staying creative, staying open to the process of life right now, your healing journey. Congratulations on every fucking thing.
Thank you, love.
Yes,
What have
yes.
you been doing? I've been seeing you doing a lot, so I need you to let the people know what's going on.
Well, I'm gonna get into that because September the 7th, which is this Saturday, it is a leap of faith, the collective exhibition. I have partnered up with four African American artists,
Mhm.
male and female, and we are coming out with this amazing exhibit of photography and painting that we all collaborate on doing, and it is one of the most unnerving things I've ever done. Um, Having to be the curator to bring all of these artists together, it was just a simple idea, and the idea came up from the photo shoot that I dropped on my page in
Mhm.
January. I had a number of those photos left over that people hadn't seen. So I said, I should do something with this. I should do
Mhm.
something with these photos. And so
Mhm.
instead of it becoming a my thing, I made it a we thing.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
collaborated with the photographer who actually did my photo shoot and some other artists. And the exhibit is up right now. It's going to be up to September the 13th.
Ooh.
Um, and I'm excited because Saturday is going to be absolutely incredible. Um,
Ooh.
I've been up since like 6 o'clock this morning because it's like that's on my brain.
Mm.
And so
Listen, I'm
I
excited to see it.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, if y'all are in Shreveport, when y'all are in Shreveport
Mhm.
this Saturday from 4 to 6, 413 Lake Street. Um, 8 months. We worked on this event for 8 months.
Wow,
Collaborating,
that's a long
just
time.
keeping everyone on, on point and just staying committed to this event because this is something that I didn't think I was going to pull off. I knew I was going to pull it off. It was just once we got into the motion of things, having to keep everyone together, having to make sure things were being done, make sure paperwork was being done, make sure the art was being turned in, and everything is now in fruition. And just I'm like,
Look, how exciting is that? You worked on something, all of you have worked on something. It's like a little baby, and you're finally watching, or a butterfly, a caterpillar, and you're just finally watching it fly. That is so exciting. And the devotion, 8 months. Oh my gosh, that's a long time. So I
yes,
applaud you. I applaud all of y'all for that.
thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes.
So, when you're not working on all of the art, what are you doing for fun?
For fun, to be honest, fishing. My family enjoys to go fishing. Excuse me. Um, we I really don't have a lot of time to do a lot of things anymore because I do work a full-time job and my schedule is super super weird. Like I work Thursday through Monday, so I'm only off on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, which is wild because I literally miss every event. Like the Humor and Harmony event, I really desperately wanted to go to that, but I couldn't take off of work. I couldn't get it approved, which is fine because there will be more opportunities in the future, I'm sure. But other than that, just really, spending time with my family because, life is short. Life is really short. And, I have a son. He's growing to be a Black man, a wonderful, independent Black man. So, it's important that I, as well as my husband, he's always there. I mean, they're inseparable. They go at each other's heads often, but they are inseparable. Their bond is just everything. And my son, whenever in his younger years, I was of course a single parent. My husband is not his biological father, but he claims him to be because he made me a promise. I think I told you that last time whenever we had the
Mhm.
interview. But he is very strict on making sure that he has an understanding of where he comes from and that he's responsible for his life as he grows older, the decisions he's making, just a not just a father but a mentor as well. And I think that that's important to have in a child's life is not just a mother but a father figure. So I applaud my husband on that, as well as my brothers and my uncles as well, and his grandfathers as well. But my son, he's into football. He wants. I feel like he wants to get into like band, but he's kind of like a little, off-putting because I guess it's not the thing for his little friend group or whatever. But we always encourage him to follow his dreams. Just make sure that he, keeps focused on what he wants to do and be a leader and not a follower. A lot of kids need to learn that. because nowadays it's all about follows and ooh, how many followers. It's not even, that's not even, that shouldn't even be a goal in a child's life. And whenever I was a child, I'm sure, how old are you? Like in your 30s,
I'm
right?
yeah,
Okay, I'm 33. So we know back in the day we didn't have iPads and iPhones, and we didn't have all that. Now kids are more they have more access to all of those things, even on YouTube, which is really scary because you think a child could go on YouTube and just find like a simple, cartoon, and there's some other stuff on there that they don't need to be seeing. But I say all that to say, being active in my son's life, being an active wife, that's really what occupies my time. It's not just about raising a child or being a wife, it's investing your time, because people make time for what they want to make time for. And I choose to make time for the people that I love and care about. And I wanted my son, being down here in Louisiana and pretty much a long distance away from my family, from West Virginia and Pennsylvania, family oriented events, they're hard to come by. And then, another topic would be dysfunctional families and generational curses, but that's another topic. But I just wanted my son to know that he's loved and he doesn't need to follow that path of generational curses. He can create his own destiny. He's not destined to fail. And that's important for any child to learn. So that's just really what occupies my time, other than designing and singing and
I
work.
love that. I love the fact that you're teaching your baby, your young king, how to be his own king in his own right.
That's
And
right.
letting him know that you can be whatever you want to be. You can do what you choose to do.
Mhm.
And you don't have to follow the crowd.
That's right. That's right.
And we are in a time where we got to let our kids know
Hmm.
you can do whatever you want to do. You can be whoever you
Yes.
choose to be. As long as you're being positive, you're being creative, you're doing something to change the world,
Hmm.
go for that. And it's okay to be the leader.
Yes.
It's okay to be
Yes.
the leader.
Yes. Yes.
I know a lot
Yep.
of followers. I know a lot of them. They're all
Hmm.
over Facebook and Instagram. Those are the followers.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate because a lot of children have so much potential. Like, of course, whenever you ask a younger child what they want to be when they grow up, they're still learning. They're just going to go with the first thing that they're used to. I seen some girl say she wanted to be a unicorn, and then I seen a video where sadly another girl said she wanted to be pregnant, and I said, oh my god. But it's all about influence. At the end of the day, it starts at home. It starts where the child rests their head at night every day. And if you stay consistent, because I know nowadays, I had a conversation with someone a while back. They said that children nowadays don't have any fear. So it's like, if you don't have fear, then you're like, living on the edge all the time, and you don't mind getting in trouble or what have you. It's important to instill that fear in a child, not to scare them or make them feel like they cannot trust you, but enough to let them know that they have security if something were to go wrong. And also, children nowadays seem to be growing into adulthood faster than we can really understand. Like,
It was simple.
yes. And I don't know who to blame that on. It's really, there's so many things I could blame it on, so many like influences that I can blame that on. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to how the child is being raised. And it doesn't matter if the child is growing up in a religious household, because there's some people who don't have religion or beliefs in that way. I just feel like it comes from being a good person in general and wanting to handle business without being influenced by other people, or trying to impress other people to make it seem like you are something that you're not. And I see that a lot too. And I know children are still, especially in their mid, like preteen ages, they're really trying to figure out who they are, what they're going to do with their spare time, all of that. So I feel like at that stage, especially at that stage, any stage, but at this particular stage, you have to be active in the child's life because they're going to remember. It's not like they were a baby, they don't really understand or really understand to remember. But now it's the time to really influence them to say, okay, just because you are African American doesn't mean that you have to go play a sport for the world, or like, doesn't mean that you have to be deemed a thug because of the color of your skin. You can be a lawyer, you don't have to go to college, take up a trade. I wish somebody told me that, and I really wish a lot. I really wish a lot of schools would teach financial literacy, because growing up in this day and age, it is so important to know about finances. And as an adult, I'm still learning too, because it wasn't taught to me. And I believe that's because it wasn't taught to my parents either. So I'm having to pick up the pieces and try to figure it out myself while trying to teach my son as well, because I have goals too, to, one day be a homeowner, one day have brick and mortar for my businesses, all of that, So especially not just for my benefit, but I want to make sure I have something that I can pass on to my son. And a lot of us don't realize that, like, having heirlooms, not just trinkets, but I'm talking about land. I'm talking about bigger things like investments, stuff like that. That it right there is what matters. It matters a lot because I don't have those things. My husband does, but I don't have those things, unfortunately. And I would love to, one day get a huge lot of land and just build like a little bit like a barn dominium, or a little house here and there for my family to go on vacation to, or they don't have to spend a whole lot of money on an Airbnb or a hotel or whatever. They have their own place to go. Or even my son, when he gets older, if he's, needs somewhere to stay, or he needs somewhere to go and he's coming home, he can stay in his own space. And I feel like that's important, for a child to understand that the privacy part of their life, even though they're a child and privacy is minimal, you still have to give your child some privacy, because they're going to feel like they're smothered and they won't, like, trust you with a lot of things. It's a learning experience. But as you can see, just being a mom, just
I
being a
love
mom and
it.
a wife.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So you already gave us just a small bit of the inspiration behind your new creativity. What inspired you to develop those ideas to get them out to the public?
Well, I've always been involved in music in a way. Even like whenever I was 17, I had my friends were in a praise team in a local church in Fairmont, West Virginia, where I'm from. And they were like, "Hey, we know you can sing. Can you help us?" And I'm like, "Sure." So I was helping them. I wasn't really, I didn't have a lot of knowledge about church and baptism. So, of course, after so many songs that we performed at church, then the pastor was like, well, you have to join the church if you want to keep helping your friends, which I didn't really understand, because I felt like I don't really know anything like about, the Bible and the meanings of, certain scriptures and actions that's supposed to be taken in the church. But I did it anyway because I felt that, okay, I'm going to take this hit to help my friends. And then it turned into a whole experience, kind of traumatic experience too, because after had graduated from high school, I was graduating that next year. Whenever I was had to be baptized, basically, to be able to help my friends with the praise team. And I had gotten into college. I had been, living my life as a fresh 18-year-old, able to go out to the club and having fun and stuff, but I still felt a duty to go to church. I may have been late, But every time that I was, the pastor would call me out. And I felt like so small because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm late, but you don't got to call me out. You know what I'm saying? I'm here. That should be all that matters. So that experience with church really took me back a little bit. It kind of, stained me a little bit with any church that I've gone to. And there's been some churches where I've attempted to join, but I couldn't go through with it for the fear of what I experienced whenever I was 17, 18. So I feel like I'm a spiritual person without having to go to church. And I feel like I'm not stopping anybody. My husband is a faithful church member. He's a drummer for a church here in Minden. Um, and I try to support as much as I can, but I'm getting more deeper into my spiritual self to try to figure out my purpose. I know I have talents, but my purpose, like aside from being a mom, a wife, a singer, a poet, an author, what is it? And I feel like I'm gonna find that soon. It's still a journey. We're still young, Jerrick. We're still young. Um, and then as far as music, it was really an escape for me. I was abused as a child.
Mm.
So I found that singing and writing poetry, even I had a little journal, I felt that was a motivation for me to be myself in my lyrics or, what I write down on a piece of paper. I also like to paint and draw. So just being artsy really, having that will to be artsy really helped me, you know. And then, just what we experienced last year with losing Josiah, um that really took a toll on me, but I found courage to try to be creative, use those gifts that I was given to be creative, to try to help myself heal and get out of that dark space, because I know a lot of women who have gone through the same. And even with the classes with Rachel's gift, there were so many women and men, fathers, mothers, grandparents, that were in the Zoom meeting, and they were sharing their stories. At the time, I didn't really want to hear all of that. I was listening, but I didn't want to hear all of that. But now that I have healed, a bit more, I can understand I'm not alone, when it comes with that. So I'm hoping one day I will be able to like have an event, for, parents or, people who have struggled with loss, losing a child, stillbirth, what have you, because it's a community out there. It's just a very sad one. So I feel like I need to bring some type of joy and security to it, to let them know that they're not alone. So I'm hoping I can do that one day. But just overall, just past experiences. And then, of course, always wanting to influence my son in a positive way to be creative. You don't have to be like everyone else, like we've already discussed. Just be a leader and follow your heart. Even when he's starting to draw, like scribble or whatever, I'm like, turn that into something. It don't have to be like a scribble. Just make it into a city or
Yes.
something.
Yes.
But that's pretty much it.
I love it. I love the fact that you turned your pain into your passion.
Thank you.
And in turning your pain into your passion, it gave you this courage to continue to move, to continue to grow, continue to thrive, and continue to keep it moving no matter what. And I want to encourage you today, Queen, keep going.
Thank you.
Keep going. Don't give in. Don't give up. All right.
Yes.
Next question is, how did you decide when to establish your brand as Nini's Corner with the artist?
Ooh. So COVID was around at the time, and everybody was getting their stimulus checks and trying to figure out what to do. So, I
This
felt,
though, this though.
yes. And I felt that I had to do something. I've always wanted to own a business anyway, but what I was doing, I was a model for my friend at the time. Her name, that's my sis. Her name is Notoria Womack. She is the owner of Dare to Be Different Fashions by Tori Styles. And her son is also an influencer as well. His page is Poppin' with Papa. So she would have me, ask me to make flyers and different things for her brand. And she would always encourage me to, girl, you should start a business. And I'm like, nah, I don't feel like it. I thought owning a business was a hassle, and it can be, but I thought the overall projection of that was just super stressed out all the time, trying to figure out what to do, make sales, etc. And then on the other side, if my family, my mom encouraged me, as well as my grandmother, my late grandmother who passed away like right before COVID hit. She was always the person that I would go to. She was my light basically in the dark. And she was an artist as well in like the early 90s and 2000s. So she was a really big influence on my artistry side when it comes down to painting and drawing. And she was always very encouraging, just telling me to follow my path, follow my dreams, don't give up. And to hear that was confirmation, but I needed more. I needed that confirmation to move my feet and move me in the direction. I had to do that myself, because everybody can tell you to keep going, but you got to really do it yourself. And so I did it. And I went on LegalZoom and I just created a name. I didn't really think about it too hard. And I was like, Nini's Corner LLC. Okay, because I don't want it to. What if one day I want to sell like clothing or something like that from my brand? I didn't want it to just symbolize graphic design, which is why it's called Nini's Corner. Because anything, you can put anything in that. So from there, it just took off from there. I had joined some Facebook groups with Black businesses and women owned businesses, and I would just promote. And then there was a time when different pages would do like for a like or follow for a follow. So I had went from zero to now I have 918 likes and over 1,000 followers. So hey, I'm happy with that. Thank you. I'm happy with that. I have really, really met a lot of amazing people along the way. I'm just really just overwhelmed with love and just being so thankful and grateful for those who've entrusted me to design and the things that they need, no matter if it was for their business, for their events that they're having, websites. I'm pretty new at that, but I've gotten some good feedback on one of my clients, Jet Logistics. Um, it's been a really crazy road, but overall, it is a great experience to know that I'm able to help other people, and that's my goal. I mean, money, yes, I get that you want to make a profit, income, etc., but to provide services to people who desperately need help, like that right there, that helps me a lot. It encourages me and keeps me going. It's like fuel, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So
I
yeah.
love it. Congratulations on everything.
Thank you.
Because if you would not have started everything that you're doing, I would not have met you.
Yes. At all.
And, and me meeting you and having the opportunity to present my poetry to you
Mhm.
or your Juneteenth even.
Mhm.
And not only just submitting it, but then winning it. And then
Mhm.
coming to perform. And then
Mhm.
taking a whole prize.
Yep.
I got that whole toolkit right there in my room.
Do you?
I use that toolkit.
Aw.
And I drove back and forth to Minden to get my hair cut. I drove back and
Mhm.
forth out there to come and get my meal. I got my facial. I got all this stuff like in over a period of maybe a few months. So I didn't,
Wow.
because I didn't want to just use everything at one time. But when I did,
Mhm.
I was just so grateful that I had the opportunity to meet your people, out in Minden and to experience your town. Minden is so beautiful.
Yes, it is.
It's like Shreveport.
Hmm.
It's just homey. It's just real real family oriented.
Hmm.
And just I'm grateful that I was just able to be a part of your event. And to saw me in the Minden newspaper, the Herald, oh,
Hmm. Yep.
I I put that down for a little while until I Facebook and I found the article.
Hmm.
But it was just amazing to see that for me to be a part of your journey.
Thank you.
And now you are a part of my journey that we play vital roles in each other's lives and how we continue to push each other as we move down the road. Girl, this shit is incredible. It's incredible. We're gonna dive into the next question.
Okay.
So, how have your priorities changed since you started Nini's Corner?
You said, how has it changed? So when I started Nini's Corner, I did not have an education in graphic design. I literally just went with the flow. I just went with what looked good. But over time, my skills have developed because I took the time to actually research what certain things meant and what certain tasks and would include of me. And I did that because, of course, feedback. There were some clients who I've had, still amazing clients, and they were honest with me about the designs that I had created back then. And back then, when I first started, I had no knowledge of. I knew what a copyright was. I just didn't know that it applied to so many things back then, like stickers. And I'm guilty for it. I was using stickers from apps and calling myself making logos and stuff, but it didn't click until I started really researching. And I feel like knowledge is key, knowledge is power. And I feel like that really helped me evolve a lot with my brand. And then it also helped me create or develop more services and even packages. Business packages is what I call them. I have copper, silver, and gold. Um, but each level was different. But I was able, within those packages, I was able to you know provide services in a whole for someone who needed a fresh start or needed to rebrand or was just getting started, what have you. So I feel like anyone who is getting involved in a craft, no matter what it is, it can be business, what you're doing with interviews and your podcast and stuff. I feel like it's always good to keep your head level. Don't like overwhelm yourself with a lot of different things, and just make sure that you have the knowledge to make sure your brand is successful, because there's other people out there who have are doing the same things that we're doing, and it's always a competition. It doesn't have to be, but it's always a competition because that's just the language of business, just like with Walmart and Kroger. you know I mean, they Walmart has great value and better goods, and Kroger, they have their own brand. I really can't remember what it's called, but they have their own brand too. But you don't see them bickering back and forth and going, off the Richter scale. They're in their own lane, doing their own thing, worried about their own selves. So I feel like if you have that focus in your business, then you will be successful, because it's not going to be a cup of tea all the time. It's not going to be easy all the time. It is going to be challenging. There's probably going to be times where it's going to be more challenging than it is with it being a smooth ride. And that's just, again, the language of business. And then I also say, it also encouraged me to venture off into different categories of businesses. Like, I have a print on demand business, and I'm also an independent influencer for Printify as well. So my job is to encourage others. Like, for example, if you want to create a t-shirt and you want it to be quick, fast, in a hurry, then hey, click the link that I have, my influencer link, and then you just sign up. It's free. And then you can create a pop-up store for free. You don't have to pay anything. You don't have to pay, like if somebody purchases something, usually you'll have to pay the printing costs or the wholesale fee before they're able to print it. But with a pop-up store, you don't have to do that. And then you get a profit from what you sell. You have your wholesale price, and then you put on whatever you want to add on, whatever percentage. And then if somebody buys it, then of course that will the part of that will go to the wholesaler, but you will get money from that too. So, and then if you want to buy it, if there's a lot of different things and products that they have, like candles, uh apparel, home decor, like even lamps and curtains and all types of stuff that you can design. Let's say you wanted to design something for your car. You can do that too. You know what I mean? So it's the possibilities are endless. It's just really hard to get support nowadays if you're not doing certain things like everyone else. I found um, because I'm not out there shaking no tail. I'm not out there cussing people out and popping balloons on a dating show. I'm not doing all of that. What I'm trying to do is build an empire, and it starts with the blueprint. You got to start with the idea, the blueprint, and then from there you're able to build your foundation. Set the stones for yourself for the future, for now and for the future, and just focus on that. So yeah.
I love it. I
Thank you.
absolutely love it. And Harry, don't worry about you. You ain't gotta shake your tail to make this money. You don't have to shake your tail to make this money. We don't have to
Period.
do it. We gonna
Mm-mm.
do this the right way. We gonna do this our way,
Period.
with
Period.
our beliefs and with our visions. And I love the fact that you are able to do what you want to do
Hmm.
without
Hmm.
having to compromise.
Hmm.
You don't have to compromise, y'all. Like we really don't have to compromise.
Yep.
And even with it come down with everything with competition, understanding that I'm not your competition and that you're not my competition, that our competition is to be the person we look at in the mirror.
That's right.
We should be better than who we were yesterday. The person that you are competing with is yourself. That's daily.
That's right.
So I absolutely love that. And I just wanted to piggyback on that. Um, Next question is, what are some challenges you've overcome on your journey to date?
Ooh. A lot. The main challenges is just to stay encouraged and find the energy, because working a full-time job and owning several businesses and being a mom and a wife, and it's a lot of titles that I have, but it's just finding the energy, because once I get off of work, I'm literally drained. Like I talk to people all day, and a lot of them, 9 times out of 10, they're going to cuss me out. And that energy, of course, you got to keep professional at all times. Of course, I do. But that energy is like somebody taking jabs at your spirit. It's like energy vampire, I guess you can call it. Like whenever how like sometimes whenever you're around somebody specific and you're of course happy to be around them, it's just something about them is draining you and you really don't know what it is, and then you have to take a while to kind of like figure that out. That's kind of how working is nowadays, especially when you work from home. I love working from home because I'm here at home. I don't have to worry about getting gas and all that, traffic and all that. But to be in your happy place and to have that negative energy affect you in a way, not emotionally but just spiritually, it kind of has an effect on the energy that you have, the reserves that you have left for
Mhm,
your family, for things that
mhm,
you need to invest your time and energy into. So
mhm,
to keep that afloat, of course, practice, practice, practice. Like, ignorance is bliss, is what they say. um it's very important, I guess, to pick and choose your battles. I'm not saying go to work and cuss people back out. I ain't saying that. I'm just saying, reserve your energy, stay calm. And for somebody who has anxiety, that is hard for me because I'm like constantly on the go. Like my brain is going 10,000 miles per hour, even at like the early wee hours of the morning, because I'm trying to figure out, okay, it's a new day. What am I going to post today on Facebook? What can I do to make sure I get some sales? Blah, da, 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 da. It's on and on. Um, but that would be a challenge for me, just to maintain my energy reserves spiritually. um yeah.
And
Try not
although
to ramble.
you better get your sage and get your Palo Alto. Get your
Hmm.
sage and your Palo Alto and let it have.
Hmm.
Because these people are trying. They be trying. You better get your sage and your Palo Alto and let it have.
Hmm.
I don't play with that.
Hmm.
And those energy vampires, they really do exist.
They do.
And we had to cut some people off. Some people
Hmm.
have cut me off,
Hmm.
baby. Because I'll tell you, if I'm the problem, cut me off. If I'm the problem, I recommend you cut me off. So I don't
Hmm.
want to be the problem. And if that person, if someone is the problem, and you know that they're the problem, then cut them off. I bet you your
Hmm.
life will make no sense at the next few hours, in the
Hmm.
next few moments, in the next few seconds.
Period.
So, next question up is, how do you define success?
How do I say that one more time?
How do you define success?
Oh, success. um that's a great question. How do I define success? I would define success not by only finances, but just the overall feeling that you have regarding goals. Like, I feel like deep down, everybody has a goal to satisfy, if it's themselves or other people. But I would say if it was for other people, then of course you wouldn't want to, like I said earlier, just impress them by pretending to be something you're not. I would say if you have a deep desire to, provide people with help, provide help to others rather, and you're successful in that, it doesn't matter if the person is homeless. It doesn't matter if they don't have any food in their cabinets and you're able to, provide that to them. Start whatever the situation is. I feel like that would be more successful, a meaning, a deeper meaning of success than it would to just gain money. Because money comes and goes, dollars come and go. And I mean, it's great to be successful in a financial realm, but just to make others happy, to for me to make, others happy, to make them smile, to let them know that, hey, I've got your back, you know that to me is success.
I love that. The act of service.
Thank you.
It's the act of service. It's
Mhm.
something that I've learned over the last 3 years. We're blessed when we are of service to others.
Mhm.
And when we are of service to others, we do not know what we are getting in return,
That's right.
but we also do not know what we are getting in return.
Mhm.
And in doing it, if your heart is intentional, if you are in the right place of giving and doing and being of service, you will see a return on
Mhm.
that. And
Mhm.
hence why we're here today.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because we made investments within each other that we made great on. And I'm just so grateful again to just have you back because life has been life. And
Yes.
I'm just so inspired by the fact that you're keeping it moving because I saw your posts. I saw everything that was going on behind the scenes, and I was like, I gotta continue to keep my sis going.
Thank
I
you.
gotta continue to keep it going. Which is the next segment to this question. What's the best advice you can give to someone thinking about starting a business or pursuing their dreams?
Um, I would say never give up, but I would say that would be outdated regarding an advice to give to somebody regarding like that situation. Nowadays it's so easy to give up because how the economy is, and I feel like there's a lot of things that people don't really understand because there's so much information that's out there, but it's hidden. It's like hidden under a lot of crap. So you got to really, invest some time, invest some energy to do your research. But I would say don't listen to the masses. Because everybody has a side that's saying, don't do this, don't do that, and another, do it, do it, do it. I would say follow your heart, and I would say don't allow the stresses of life to don't allow the stresses of life to negatively impact your decision, because you can make a decision and it can be the best decision, or you can make a decision it can be the worst. It just depends upon the decisions you make during that trial and the tribulation, as well as the path that you're going down. I would say again, knowledge is key. Knowledge is power. And before you dive into anything business wise, definitely do your research, create a plan, a business plan, because nothing is free. It's always a cost to something. And you want to make sure you're prepared for that. Owning a business is not cheap, depending upon what you decide to do. If want to own or want to become a graphic designer, you have to also not just think about the LLC if you decide to do that, or a DBA. You have to think about, okay, it's going to cost me money to have these different programs and system softwares and all that stuff. It's going to cost me money to print if I offer that. It's going to cost me money for subscriptions that I may need through Google Play, iCloud, whatever the case may be. So you have to make sure that you have funding for your goals and dreams. If you don't, it'll be like super stressful, because money, like everything is inflated right now. So, yeah, that would be my advice. Just, like I said earlier, idea, blueprint, building. And then once you have accomplished all of your goals, achieved all of your goals with building your business, no matter what you have set forth, once everybody knows who you are and you don't have to have an introduction, that's when you can kick back. That's when you can kick back. But until then, keep working hard. Never let any competition, no matter if it's yourself or others, cloud your judgment and get in the way of what you want to do in your life. Um, let go of fear as well, because I know it took me a while to really get comfortable with talking to people, and really getting to understand who they are and what they're wanting, what their brand is about, because not everyone is willing to share that information, and I get that. I definitely understand that, because a lot of people are out here who, they seem like they have your best interest, but they're like trying to nitpick and see what information they can get out of you to, for themselves, and it could be jealousy, it could be whatever, but don't focus on that. Focus on you. And also, with business comes investing in not just money but energy. So you want to make sure that if you have a family, or if you have other obligations, that you do not stray away from those responsibilities. Is that everybody, may not have a support system, but if you do, and it's people like your spouse, your child, don't brush them off for your business. because those, aside from yourself, they are your number ones. Always will be. So, because I think with business, we get so involved in trying to better our business and we lose focus of bettering ourselves and maintaining a better outcome, a better life, from with our families and friends, people who we care deeply about. Um, because with business you want, it's more so, in business you want to find a way to impress someone to purchase your services or to buy something from you, choose you rather. And it's like a lot of it's making it hard and difficult because there's a lot of, like we were talking about earlier, a lot of influencers in the world, and they set this tone that everyone has to be just like them. And it's like, okay, I'm me. I'm not them. I can't be them, but take a chance on me. So that's what where businesses are kind of like, hey, take a chance on me. I'm here. Hey, with discounts and all types of stuff like that. It's a long road, but basically, don't give. I can go on and on, baby. It's a
I
long
understand.
list, but just don't give up. Start with your idea, your blueprint, and build from there. And then once people know your name, like Coca Cola, Powerade, Gatorade, then you can kick back.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. And I want to piggyback on it just a little bit. Trusting your instincts, trusting yourself to know that you're making the right decisions, to know that if you trust your instincts are telling you, don't do that, do this. And if you trust, when you trust your instincts and you follow through the things that you set out to do, you will see the next door open
Hmm.
because you just trusted your instincts, you trusted yourself. So that's gonna be a thing too. Like y'all, please learn to trust your instincts, learn to trust yourself, learn to trust that little voice inside of you speaking to you. Because that's
Hmm.
God. He's really down there and he's inside of you, tell you, do it that way.
Hmm.
Do
That's
it that
right.
way. Few more questions and then we're gonna play Candy or Corn.
Okay.
Can you give us your favorite quote and why?
Ooh, I love Dr. Maya Angelou, right? I love my favorite quote would have to be, if someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. I love it because, and I've used it like unknowingly, but knowingly, I've used it a lot whenever I try to encourage other people, whenever it comes down to that type of topic. And and even as of late, I've been using my other one. I know I only can choose one, but my other one would be a rainbow in someone else's cloud from her. It speaks for itself, right? Because when you look at a
Right.
rainbow, it's fascinating. It's like, oh wow, look how pretty. It just gives you this feeling of love. You know what I mean? Just something that you need, like a not a filler, but fulfillment, right? So I feel like that, like Dr. Maya Angelou, that I hate that she's gone from us. I understand everybody has their own time to go off of this earth, but she left so much wonderful knowledge for us. And all it takes is just to type in her name on Google, and lo and behold, you know
That
um
part.
but I will say she was one of the top people who had inspired me to pursue my poetry creativity. And
Yes.
I know she can't hear me, but I would love to just thank her for that. Not just because she encouraged me for that purpose, but being seeing a black woman, an educated black woman with so much to give, so much power and strength, that right there was motivating to me. Cause I'm like, dang, I'm an African American too. And I'm not ghetto like they say we are. I'm not loud and rude and mean and mad all the time. I'm not an angry black woman all the time. But I keep my head held high at all times, no matter what I'm going through. Even whenever I was going through what I went through with Josiah, if I had to go somewhere, I had to keep my head held high. And that's something that my aunt Shirley taught me too. She was like, she'd take a sip of something, baby, and her pinky would be up, honey. She'd have the long fingernails with the long cigarettes, and it was she was classy. I'll tell you that, very sophisticated. But she reminded me just her how she carried herself. It was as if she was embodying Dr. Maya Angelou for some, or they were kind. It's like they were like lost twins or something. That's literally what it seemed like. But my aunt Shirley, she was involved in the civil rights movement as well. She actually she told me a story, and I don't know where she was. I don't think she told me the state, but at the time of segregation was going on, of course, it was happening in West Virginia as well. But it was her and a group of others who went and sat in a restaurant, and they didn't move. She told me, and I was like, "Ooh, I can use that whenever they have Black History Month." Because anytime we have Black History Month, we it seems like we always learn about the same individuals, and I feel like there's so many more people out there. Not putting the ones that we've been learning about for all these years to the side, but there's so many more African Americans that have paved the way for us to be able to have this meeting, to be able to have businesses. So I feel like we need to give props when props is due, and we need to
That's
learn
it.
about them too.
That's it. I love that. Maya Angelou, I am still a fan. I can never
Mhm.
not be a fan of Maya. You know that they have her on the quarter? She's on the quarter.
Is she?
Yes. She's on the quarter. So
Oh, I need to find me one.
get you some of those Maya Angelou quarters and put them to the side. They're gonna be worth some money.
Yeah.
And I read I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings when I was
Oh,
younger. I still
yes.
have that particular book. She's part of the reason that I'm a writer
Hmm.
because she was so candid and she was so open to talking about how life was in Little Rock, Arkansas, coming down from the South.
Wow. See, I
And
didn't know about that.
the book, like to read the book, her book, to find out that she was molested,
Hmm. Hmm.
she told part of my story. And she just showed me that, okay, there's a real human being here, not just the person that we see on TV. And
Hmm.
it made me just appreciate the form of writing.
Yeah.
So definitely gotta send shout outs to Maya. Peace, my queen. Peace, my
Yeah.
queen. Last three questions. Can you tell us three things you like to see better in our community?
Ooh. Let me try to figure out the top three because there's so many.
I know, right?
Um, one, I would say that there needs to be more community unity instead of the community being separated by popularity and little cliques. I say that because with Pop Up and Pose, it was a group of individuals who called me to a meeting. And I'm thinking, hey, they're going to support, because usually per year they would be the people who would host like a, Juneteenth event or Black History, what have you. What happened was one of them was a councilman at the time, and he had told me in front of everyone, well, what are we going to do now? Because you're having it on Saturday. What are we going to do? So I was like, well, it's a weekend. So we can have a whole, like, my plan was from Friday to Sunday. We could have Friday being like the intro, have like different events, maybe a parade going on because they have parades during Black History Month and stuff like that, and I felt like we could come together to build a plan, but they didn't like that. They said, "Well, Father's Day is Sunday. What day are we going to have?" I said, "Well, Father's Day, people are looking to go out places and do things. So I think that would be, but they didn't want to do that." And then I had another individual who told me that he would be more than happy to help, but he didn't like the fact that I wanted it to be downtown. So usually there's certain areas here in Minden where they host, different events, and I get that because those areas hold they hold a lot of sentimental value regarding the African American community here. I get that. But me, I was raised to never put my African American, my melanation to the side. I was never taught to reserve that. I was always taught to be open and loud with my brown skin. So being downtown, in the center of downtown, in front of City Hall, having different people from different states and different vendors come in, I felt that that right there was an eye opener because people could drive downtown. They wouldn't let us block those streets whenever I was signing the papers for the street blockages. But because they didn't, I felt that was an opportunity because there were some people who actually did stop and shop with people. It was hot that day, but people still shopped and walked around. There was a Caucasian lady who came around and she was like, I was driving by and I didn't know what was going on. And now that I'm out here, I'm just so glad that I stopped because I really want to learn more about the culture. Like she was genuine about it. She wanted to learn more about Juneteenth. She had, children who were biracial. And I guess in the South, I have to get used to, people not being raised in such a way to, it's still kind of like a segregation type of thing going on, but more so in the mind rather than in our schools and public and stuff. Um, but I enjoyed that. Did any of those individuals from that meeting show up? No. And, you know, it was whenever George Floyd was had been murdered. We had a different economic development director here in Minden. So I was at the time, that was actually around the time I started Nini's Corner because I had to go and file an application for my occupational license. So we were just talking, and he was involved with the black community. He was biracial himself. So he was like, hey, let's come together, let's join forces, let's do a peaceful protest. I'm for it because that's how I was raised. My mother raised me again to you know embrace my melanation. Okay. So he asked me to sign the street blocking form. I did. There was some backlash from that from the Black community because there were individuals that were on the council that were in the community. I guess we can say, in a way, they're elders who were telling others, she's not from here. She doesn't need to be doing none of this. She don't know nothing about what's going on in Minden. So I've had people look. People were calling me and on Facebook and messaging me and saying who said what and did this and that. And I actually was able to speak to the individual who was saying those things. And she was saying that she was being more so protective. And I kind of understand now that I'm, thinking about it. But at the same time, that is why there's so much division in the community because that one mindset, that older, that past mentality when it comes down to elders and the old ways. I think that if a younger person is coming forth and they want to do something that makes a difference in the community for the community, I think that the older or elders rather should embrace that and they should encourage that person and help that person along because I feel like in a way the backlash that I received from both of those events was because I'm me, and I do have a song out there called "Cause It's Me" because I really feel like you ever felt like people don't support you or they are negative towards you, and there's really no motive behind that. It's just because it's you, right? Literally, that's what "Cause It's Me" means to me. Um, but I don't know. I feel like that's the main thing when it comes down to the community. Just more unity in the community. I feel like education is a plus. I feel like a lot of these children out here, they really need some guidance because they're our future. And Instagram and Roblox and all of that other mess, that's not teaching the children anything, in my opinion. Putting a phone or a iPad in front of a child, especially at a young age, it really deteriorates their will to want to get up and actually be active in learning because somebody's doing it for them on the screen. Convenience. It's just like, example, Chromebooks in school. I'm not against it, but I feel like the children would learn better if they had what we had growing up and going to school, textbooks.
Actual books.
Thank you. I mean,
Read actual books.
like, cause and then even like with the Chromebooks, I've noticed too. There, of course, it does have systems where it can read for you, and the Zern that the kids do. If they get the answers wrong so many times, and it walks them through the problem so many times, it'll like pass them and move them forward. I don't like that because I'm like, the child's not learning anything. They're just learning, okay, well, if I get this question wrong X amount of times, then I'm just going to pass anyway. So I don't really care if I get it right or wrong. You got to really like be like stay on the child to make sure that they're getting the education that they're needing to get.
Critical
Um,
thinking is important. Critical thinking. Solving
yes,
problems.
absolutely, absolutely. And then the last thing would be, ooh, this is a tough one too. Because it's again so many. But ooh, I would say the last thing too would be more so for the city officials, to make sure that the town has the protection it needs, and to hire individuals who will actually serve their purpose and not abuse their power, and not utilize that position, whether it be a mayor, a police officer, a firefighter, what have you, to better the community. And I wish that city officials and others who are involved with the decision making when it comes down to the overall impact of the entire city or town, what have you, that they do research in trying to better the community. I say that because Minden, as you know, has a lot of potential. Just like my hometown, Fairmont. Fairmont is just as small as Minden. Everybody pretty much knows everybody, a lot of family, what have you. But the problem is Minden is kind of stuck here. There's so much land here and so much potential here to build like a little like a family event center like Surge, for example. um the difference between my town and Minden is Fairmont finally found the courage to invest in their town, not to just promote it as a family friendly, family fun town, but they've actually built things. There is a park on East Side in Fairmont. There's an East Side and a West Side, and of course, East Side, that was where most of the white people lived, the Caucasians lived, Black on the West Side. It was always a battle, whatever. But there's been some unity going on within the communities. There's still issues where, just like in Minden, I'm pretty sure in Shreveport too, that you can go to certain neighborhoods and tell where they're really investing their time and energy to maintain those areas. And I feel like here in Minden, that's a part of the story as well. Even though I get like, people they own their own homes and stuff like that. I just feel like the city should take more initiative in building it to where people don't want to leave Minden because there's nothing, no, like, I'm not going to say no entertainment because there's always events going on with individuals or whatever, but I'm saying the city can invest in or get a grant rather to build family friendly environments, not just continuing to enhance the local parks, but I'm talking about something like since the Party Central that recently closed down, something like that, or a movie theater. Okay, Fairmont, they've had a movie theater. They have bars, which Menden now has bars because we're no longer a dry parish for the past few years or so. Um, Fairmont has events and stuff just like Menden, just like any other town, like parades and stuff like that. But I feel like there just needs to be something. There has to be something done that can help the city or the residents of the city feel comfortable staying here. And I also feel like there's jobs. There needs to be more jobs here as well, because there's places to work, but the inflation is otherworldly. And to I know a lot of people who live here who work out of town, and that right there alone with gas and having, the traffic because they're still working on the interstate on I-20, I know how dreadful that can be. So I just feel like if they allow bigger companies like corporations to come here, like Amazon is in Shreveport, right? Maybe something like that here. There's so much land here, but it's just privately owned. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like there's room for growth. I just I'm sorry, I'm seeing a text from my son's teacher. I'm sorry. Um, but I feel like there's room for growth in all of those aspects. I just feel like it's going to take effort, and it's just going to take a lot of individuals to get it to, to be done basically. Because and it's going to take not just somebody like us to who wants to try to do something about it. It's going to take people from all different areas of the community, people who are respected or elders or people who are heard. It's going to take a lot of that, a lot of individuals with that stature to get things done. um and I feel like listening to the younger generation, like our generation, because we're growing up in this. Like it's like I feel like we're caught in the middle of everything, and we want to make a difference, a change, but it's like we're stopped, we're paused all the time because it's not the way that they want it to be.
Yes.
So
Great segue to the final question, and then we're going to play Candy or Corn.
okay.
What would be your wish for the next generation?
Ooh, my wish for the next generation would definitely be that they have access to all of the knowledge that we do not have. That would be again with getting financial literacy classes. That is to me, that is so important. I mean, it's just as important to me as home ec class. I mean, they have home. I guess they still have home ec class, but I mean, of course, home ec class teaches you like the basics, like how to cook and all that stuff. But being in a world where it's about the coin, we they need to learn that. And I feel like that should be a mandatory thing, not just in high school, but gradually over the courses of their lives going to school. Um, and not just that, but also, getting them to understand that at a younger age, they don't need technology as much as they think they do regarding like phones and iPads. They don't need to watch Instagram, YouTube that much, whatever. It has a negative impact on them. So I'm hoping that they'll learn that early on in life to where they can pass that information down to the next. Also, investments, again, I'm still learning too, but having something to pass along to your children or to actually own yourself, because paying rent is cool because it's something. But I've come to the realization that a lot of our communities, our melanated communities, are it's like they're expecting to just go from high school to the projects, and it's not it shouldn't be that way. And I know again it starts at home, but it's like if the community itself does not provide like an outreach or something, a class for the youth to learn about becoming a homeowner or the aspects around that, then I think that that's a huge problem. I think it's a huge problem because I'm looking at how our generation is. I don't even know. I guess are we Generation Z or Y or
We are the
millennial?
millennials.
Millennials. So a lot of us are still struggling out here. And people would ask us, well, what is your plan for the next 5 years? It's like to survive. I mean, to survive.
That part. That being said, we are about to play candy or corn. I'm going to ask you about these candies. If you eat these candies, you can say candy. If you would not eat these candies, you can say corn.
Okay.
And we want to invite everybody at home. Y'all can also play candy or corn with us by putting your comments down in the comment section. The first candy up is the York's Peppermint Patty,
Candy,
100 grand.
corn.
Snickers,
Is it just a regular Snickers or is it like peanut butter Snickers?
whichever you choose to prefer.
I would go with peanut butter Snickers and I would say candy on that one.
That's good too. That's good too.
Mhm.
You got that one in the fridge.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Give
Oh
you like
yeah.
a little 15-minute chill.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know.
I got you.
Okay, M&M's.
If it's peanut M&Ms, I would say candy.
Mike and Ike's.
Corn.
Lemon Heads.
Mm, I don't know. I guess I would say corn. I used to love some lemon heads, but I'm a chocolate girl.
Understood. Twix.
Corn.
Skittles.
Corn.
Sour Patch Kids.
Corn.
And the final candy is candy corn.
Ooh, no, corn. No. Nobody. No, no, no. I don't know. I
Understood.
don't see the purpose. I don't see the purpose of candy corn.
You
Like,
trust for someone like me, you could throw the entire factory away.
pretty much throw it away. Cause why?
God bless the people who like their candy corn, but you can throw it away from me.
Mm-mm. It's cute to look at, especially when it's a cartoon or something. But to eat, it's like you might as well just put some wood dust in your mouth or something. It's no flavor, no taste, no.
That part. Well, Nisa, that is candy or corn. Thank you for playing. So, how can people contact you about your services with Nini's Corner, or how can they also listen to your music?
Okay. So with Nini's Corner, I am on Facebook. That's mostly where my activity is. So you can just look up Nini's Corner LLC on Facebook. I also have an Instagram. It's the same Nini's Corner LLC, all together lowercase. To find my music, I'm on all platforms, especially if you want to support me, like to purchase a track, you can purchase it on Spotify, Amazon Music, iTunes. It was one more. I forget what it is. Ooh. But anyway, you can listen to my music on all platforms, even social media. It's on social media. I do pretty much utilize BandLab. It's like a recording app, and you're able to communicate with other artists and post and stuff. So a lot of my unreleased music, my unofficial music, is on there as well. So just look up Nisa or Nini 25. And you'll find my profile there. You can listen to all of the songs that I've had and different features with different artists on that platform. Um, but the songs that are out in a public platform, such as like YouTube Music, you can find all of that there. Even iHeartRadio. It's a list, a long list.
Yes. And we don't want to forget about your books. Tell us where we can find your books.
Okay, so you can find Love's Eternal Journey. You can find Galactic Adventures, The Mysterious Glitch, which is the children's book, and it has a lot of educational attributes to it. In the back, I did put a glossary back there because I did utilize big words, and I know that a lot of children take ELA in school, so I felt like that was very beneficial. You can find that as well as my I Am Empowerment coloring book, which is for all ages, on Amazon.com. I do want to advise, if you're into the urban fantasy book thing, you won't be able to find my Love's Eternal Journey on there just right out because it's rated R. So you have to go to my profile. So just look up Nisa Murray and you should be able to see all of my books.
Congratulations again
Thank you.
for all of
Thank,
your success, Queen. I am so fucking proud of you
thank
because you're
you.
keeping it moving.
Mhm.
And I had to get you back up here in a little tea time for season 9
Yes.
and celebrate you again. I am just so grateful that I had the opportunity to meet you, that I've gotten to share you with the world, and that we're doing it again this season.
Thank you.
Sis, I just want you to keep your head on. Keep your head on. My love to you and your kingdom. Send your family my love. Y'all, as I always say after every single show, opportunities knocking, you matter. Let's build and grow higher, Shreveport. And remember to be great on purpose and not by accident. The future is now. I am Jerrick, aka Jarvis D, your favorite published author's favorite published author. Also, like and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget, y'all want to see more of this content, hit that notifications button. Nisa, you want to give them a final word before we get out of here?
Well, yes, I definitely want to express my thanks, my gratitude to you for providing me with this opportunity to speak my mind and to come on here again to speak with you. I enjoyed having our talks. I enjoy communicating with you and seeing you grow and glow. So continue to do that. And thank you so much for being a staple in the community as well. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am, Queen. Um, I know you got to get your day going on your end. I got
I
this race on my hand, so we're going to get out of here. I enjoyed you so much. Until next time, honey, and you keep me posted on that event in
will.
February.
I will. I will. I got you.
And I definitely am looking forward to that. I will see you soon. We got to get out of here, you guys. Bye.